Peace, y'all. Welcome back to Parental Reflections with Alpha Tauri 101, Alpha Tauri from Humanhood 101. So we started the week speaking about how to approach and process our parenting experiences when our children are being dishonest, when they're lying, when they might be deceitful, and so on and so forth. And it was a very good discussion we started, and we're going to start it and hit it off again because it's something that's very important to everybody to really need to really sink into and focus on. So the objective was to check yourself, right? When you experience your children dishonest with you, the first thing you want to do is check yourself, okay? After you check yourself, you want to stop, you want to breathe, and then think about the situation. If you continue to think thoughts that are detrimental to your health or to the health of your child, you want to stop and breathe again. I'm giving y'all formulas that I usually don't give publicly. All right. So whoever's here, what's up, Joe? I see you. Whoever's here and whoever watches this later on the recording, I usually don't do this. I give you like a little template, but I'm actually helping you fill that template for these lives. So for the sake of the tribe that are here. So now, how do we continue that process? I got some DMs last night of people that watched the live and they wanted to know, how do we deal with this? Like, all right, I stop and I breathe and I'm doing all the things with this, it didn't work as well as I thought it would work. So if you want it to work, here is another solution. You have to give your children the opportunity to be honest. Give them the opportunity to tell you the truth. All right. Remember, it is conditioning. When we start lying and being dishonest, it has nothing to do with the child, just being deceitful or being evil or being demonic. No, they're just being normal and natural. They're protecting themselves. They're getting what they want. Okay. It's a defense mechanism that all of us have. They just have to understand what's going on and how to shift it and how to manage it. So give your children the opportunity to be honest. All right. Ask them easy questions for them to respond with honesty and continue to do that so they can feel themselves being honest, so they can experience being honest and responding to you with honesty in your presence, so they can experience being honest and responding with honesty to themselves, so they can feel it, so they can hear themselves doing so, because that will help them continue to grow in being truthful and honest within themselves. Because again, remember, before they lie to you, before they start being deceitful to you, before they start being dishonest to you, they first have to be deceitful and lie and be dishonest with themselves. So we have to break it down from a very, 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 very fundamental point to get it to work, to get it to redevelop, to get it to shift in the direction of progress. Okay. So it goes a long way. We can use repetition, in a sense, because the children have developed these, if we could say, conditionings or these behaviors of being dishonest and lying because they've been doing it and they've been practicing it over and over again. So the more they practice it, the better they get at it, and the more it becomes normal and natural for them to utilize throughout their days, throughout their experiences that they have, especially when it's for their protection, especially when it's for them to achieve and get something that they want. All right. Now, everybody here knows that they've been lying, that they've lied before. And if they said some things and they've had to redirect themselves and take themselves to a point where they had to say, oh, snap, I need to not be dishonest. That doesn't feel like the best thing to do. So I only say that to say, don't be judgmental. All right. Remember, stop, breathe, and think. When your children say something to you and they tell you something that's dishonest and they lie to you and you know they're lying, Don't get crazy. Don't smack them in the face. Don't get angry. Don't just stop, take a deep breath, maybe smile if that helps, and then start over and continue that process until the chemicals in your body allow you to approach your child effectively. Okay. You don't want to go into this situation with anger and frustration because it's not going to amount to anything. Because what you're doing is you're pulling up your past, you're pulling up your unmastered experiences, you're pulling up your emotions that you need to be dealing with. Okay. One of the best ways to deal with it is to deal with it within the experience that you're having with your children. They come to us with their own stuff, but they come to us to help us face our stuff as well. Because a lot of us go through life without mastering our experiences, and we have children. And when we have our children, sometimes we wind up passing on our unmastered experiences to them. So now they have their stuff and our stuff to deal with. And we do not want that. You do not want that. So remember, I'm going to keep saying this: stop and breathe, and then think. That is the best approach to use, not only when your children are lying to you or deceitful, but when you have a parenting challenge that gives you that feeling, that gives you that emotion, that gives you that anger, that gives you that stress, that gives you that frustration, that gives you that tension. Do not proceed with all of that. Do not go into that parenting experience. Do not go into that, if you want to say battle with all of that, because that will only make things worse. That will only make things more difficult. That will only put your child in another mode to continue to do what they have been doing. And a lot of times we just like how the children are, conditioned and lying and being deceitful. It's based on their conditioning. It's based on what they've been doing. You are responding based on your conditioning. You are responding based on what you've been doing. So stop. It's a weird noise in the background. I think my laundry, my washer and dryer is on upstairs. So if y'all hear that, please forgive the sound of background. But stop. A lot of redirection. To redirect, you have to stop. You have to stop. So a lot of the DMs that I got last night from all of the from the workshop that we did yesterday were really based on how do I deal with one, my feelings, my emotions. They just get so crazy. I flare up. And once I flare up and get to this point, it's very hard for me to think. It's very hard to me to solve the problems. So the answer to that again is to stop, to breathe, and then proceed. Because if you jump into that experience with that anger and that frustration, it's going to be a problem. Let's see what y'all saying. It's funny because I don't want my child to care whatever people think, but I get upset when I feel like he doesn't find my concerns a priority. Yes, thank you, Joe. That's a you thing. That's a you thing. And when we are reflecting as parents, we can then break down exactly what's going on, and we can see that it's not our child, it's us. So in order for us to parent our children, we have to first parent ourselves. We have to redirect our own energy. We have to, understand our own conditionings. We have to really break down all of the things that have been pulling on us before we approach our children. Because if we approach our children with things that have been bothering us, it is then going to bother them. And that is not what we want. We want to help them. We want to guide them. We want to facilitate them. We want to allow them to go into the right direction. But if we're not in our own right direction focus, then we're not going to put them in the right direction focus. So again, to the parents that sent me the DMs, and it was a few of them, how do I deal with my frustration and my anger and my tension and my stress when my children lie to me? You stop and you breathe, and then you proceed. Okay. And then you step into the situation. And then you ask the question, okay? Ask yourself the question first. What's happening here? Why do I feel like this? Okay, take a note of it, why you feel like that. And make sure why you feel like that, you don't put onto your child to feel like that. Okay, that's the first thing. The second thing is the questions that were given to me was, how do I continue to redevelop my child when they're being dishonest? You redevelop your child by using repetition, okay? It was repetition that got them to start lying to you consistently. So it's going to be repetition for you to get them to stop lying consistently. So continue to ask the question to yourself, and then go to your child and give them opportunity to be honest with you. Give them the opportunity to tell you the truth. Ask them easy questions to answer. Don't try to trick them. Ask them easy questions to answer and let them experience being honest. Let them experience telling the truth, not only to you, but to themselves. Because remember, for them to start lying to them, to others and lying to you, they have to lie to themselves first. For them to be dishonest with others, they have to be dishonest with themselves first. So we have to go down and start from the fundamental perspective for them to take the next level in their progression and their living. And this that is that simple. It's really that simple. Peace to everybody in the room. Peace for everybody that's good morning. Good morning. Peace to everybody. Good to see y'all in here. Yeah, it's really interesting because we don't, we a lot of us, and I listen, I'm one of them. I've had to deal with that on many levels, and I continue, as I see myself at another level, right? But I'm still looking for new levels. I'm still looking to go to higher heights because we we come with our stuff, and it could be either stuff that was passed down to us from our parents, or it could just be the stuff that we are supposed to be able to matriculate by just being born on this planet. We have a purpose. We have our own journey. We're born with our own mission to take our own journey, which comes with a whole bunch of trials and tribulations and things to master, things to learn, things to get through, things to grow through, right? So we have to not let that get in the way of our children's journey. We have to find a way to make it a oneness thing. We have to connect it if possible, but not in a sense where it blocks them from making sure their journey is moved forward. Gisette Gem says, we have to resolve our own frustration that may be connected to our past. Yes, we got to. So how do we do that? Because that's what someone asked me. We reflect by constantly doing the work. Okay. So I always talk to people about journaling. Y'all, I know y'all hear me say it all the time. It is one of the most easiest ways to therapize yourself. Journal. And you ain't got to pay for it. I mean, you might have to buy a book or a piece of paper or some pens, but it's really, really, really simple. Just write it out. The magic not only starts when you write it out, but when you go back and read what you write. Okay. Journaling is very, 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 very exclusive. It's very, very important. And it's a really easy way to see what's happening inside of you because you get to pour it out. Another way is we're talking about parental reflection. So, another way is to look in the mirror and talk to yourself. That might sound a little crazy, but do it. Try it. Tell yourself everything you need to hear. And then as you talk to yourself, listen to what you say. And another thing is ask yourself the question because universal law says if you ask the question, you will receive the answer. And then once you start to use these practices, pass them on to your children so they can start using them, so they can develop and not have to deal with the things that you are dealing with as an adult. Okay? So really, 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 again, focus on reflecting on the self. When the child comes to you with something and they make you upset, quote unquote, and you get angry, it's not them making you upset. It's not them making you angry. It's you allowing yourself to be angry. It's you making yourself upset. They're just triggering you. And that is a beautiful opportunity for growth. That is a beautiful opportunity for you to get to whatever it is you're supposed to get to. Take it. Don't get angry and upset and scream and kick your kid out the house or go upstairs and close the door and give me all your video games and don't talk to me and don't do that. Let's deal with it. You might have to stop and breathe, but deal with the experience. Now, here's the thing that I have struggled with in the past. I like to deal with things head on, like immediately. Sometimes your children, depending on who you are, what kind of approach you use, might not be able to or might not want to. Or might not see themselves as being able to deal with this experience at the time. So they might also need a break. They might also need to stop and breathe because it's hard. They don't really most of the time don't know what's happening. They just going. They're just dealing with the experiences that's been passed on to them that they've been dealing with. So just as you give yourself the opportunity to stop and to breathe and to reset so you can proceed, give them that same opportunity. Okay. What you do on one side of the equation, you always have to do on the other. I know you remember that in basic algebra, right? Basic math. So focus your energy on what it is you want to accomplish with yourself as a parent. And that will give your children the opportunity to see how they need to progress as well. Okay. So I believe that was all of the questions. It was only those two major questions. It's funny when you get multiple DMs that have same questions, and that shows me that a lot of parents are dealing with the same thing. Okay. So what I say to parents is this: we're all in it together. All right. When you're having your experience, don't think that you're the only one. Don't think that you're a horrible, bad parent because your kid is lying to you. Like, what did I do? Where am I going wrong? My kid is just lying, he's stealing stuff. I must be horrible. Don't look at it like that. It is an opportunity for growth. That's how you need to first look at it. You have to change your mindset. You have to change your train of thought. Okay. Don't think in scarcity. Don't think in negativity. Think in focus and progression and understand that every moment of discomfort is an opportunity for evolution and growth. I'm going to keep running at it, y'all, because that is the reality that we all need to continue to live through. So don't feel bad about yourself as a parent. Love who you are and continue to grow who you are because that is what will matter. That is what counts. Because a lot of us, that I've also got a couple DMs where, people is like, I must, they listen to what I've been saying, they watch some of my stuff and they go through one of my books or whatever. And it's like, wow, I must be horrible. I must be a really bad parent. No, you're not a bad parent. You're a growing parent. And the fact that you realize that you have a developmental area is great. Now you know what you can do better, what you can do stronger. Now you know what you can focus on. Now you know what you can shift, where you can shift in. So don't feel bad when you realize something is happening. Feel grateful that you see it. Because how many of us go through our entire lives and not realize our areas of development? How many of us, I'm speaking metaphorically here, stay on the same block, right? And never leave their block. They never get to see outside the city. They never get to cross the seas. They never get to experience different languages and different foods. Like so be grateful that you like, wow, there's another world. Be grateful that you see that and go for it. But don't go with fear, anxiety, and stress and anger. Stop and breathe, okay? And face it. And a lot of times we're going to be facing things through our children, okay? So make sure when you're doing so with love, with kindness, with patience, not just with your children, but with yourself, okay? So that will be all for today. I really appreciate everyone that has joined in, for everyone that has commented and asked some questions. Remember, if you haven't already, to go into my bio, click on where it says parenting tips, free weekly parenting tips. That is how you get into my tribe, y'all. When you put your email into that list, you're going to receive not only parenting tips, but things that will continue to help your growth as a parent and as a human. Okay. So go on in there, click the link in my bio, fill out that quick, easy link so I can start sending you some weekly parenting tips. Look out for a lot of amazing things that are coming. We have the morning meetup, parent reflection morning meetup. It will actually be a Zoom that you can sign up for where we can have discussions on parenting. And if you didn't get Fathering Daughters 101, you're missing out. Fathering Daughters 101 is not just about daughters and fathers. It is a manual that will help all parents, okay? Fathering, mothering, it doesn't matter. Check it out. It's a self reflecting parent manual, okay? And guess what? The sequel to that book is coming out, Fathering Sons 101. Oh, it's going to be good, y'all. It is good. And I really look forward to hearing more responses from you all on how y'all feel, what what your results were from doing the work and writing the things out and practicing the different approaches. It helps. So, again, thank you all for joining me this morning. I hope that this has been helpful to you. Share with your friends. Check out my podcast. Okay. It is now on Apple, it's on Spotify. It's called Parental Confessions. You can also find that in my bio. All right. And just continue to grow as parents. Just continue to push and just continue to love yourself and love your children. Peace, y'all. Have a wonderful, great, growing day.
If you've enjoyed this clip, subscribe to Parental Confessions podcast on Apple, Spotify, and Spreaker. You can also watch Parental Confessions on YouTube, so subscribe, like, and leave a review. Be sure to download a copy of my parental book that's changing the lives of families, entitled Fathering Daughters 101, which is a self reflecting parenting manual for not just fathers, but for anyone who is a parent or plans to be a parent. And if you haven't already, follow me on Instagram at humanhood101 and go into my bio, sign up for free weekly parenting tips, and join the Parent Reflection Meetup once a week, where parents meet to connect and learn how to approach parenting challenges. Till next time, peace. If you If you've enjoyed this clip, subscribe to Parental Confessions podcast on Apple, Spotify, and Spreaker. You can also watch Parental Confessions on YouTube, so subscribe, like, and leave a review. Be sure to download a copy of the parenting book that's changing the lives of families, entitled Fathering Daughters 101. It's a self reflecting parenting manual for not just fathers, but for anyone who is a parent or plans to be a parent. If you haven't already, follow me on Instagram at humanhood101 and go into my bio, sign up for free weekly parenting tips, and join the Parenting Reflection Meetup once a week, where parents meet to connect and learn how to approach all parenting challenges. Till next time, peace.